Here's a little ditty about me. It's not about Jack and Diane. So this is the perfect place to put this content. I want to tell you about my week and what I've been dealing with. Now, why would I do that about, especially here on the Taco Podcast? Because the Taco Podcast is not just about, raising a child on the autism spectrum. It's about trying to survive and stand on our own 2 feet without having to rely on anything else, but just surviving in a middle class existence. And yeah, it feels like a lot of times that the world is pushing us down more and more. But we keep on striving, we keep on fighting, we keep on, inching forward. Just a little bit, sometimes it feels like we take one step forward and 2 steps back. All of this, what I'm about to tell you, started last Saturday. Last Saturday, we woke up in the morning to the sound of water, and we couldn't figure out where the sound of water was coming from. Well, it turns out it was our basement. Our basement was flooded. It was at that point about ankle deep worth of water, not sewage, but just water, and which makes it even more curious. It's like, oh my God, it's not a sewer backup. Where's this water coming from? We looked all over. I checked every pipe I could, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Well, it didn't matter what I did. I mean, this is a pretty decent sized house, but I checked every water pipe for every bathroom, every the kitchen, dishwasher, everywhere. Couldn't find it. So, what do you do in that situation? Well, you call a plumber, right? Because I don't have any friends or family members to reach out to who are plumbers. So, called plumber. Yeah, I have to pay for emergency after hours rates. So, what normally would have been $155 an hour in my area for a plumber? Yeah, that's pretty decent money, right? It actually costs $210 an hour for a plumber to come out. Plumber came out. He diagnosed not one, but two different issues. First, we have a broken pipe. That pipe is continuing to spill everything out. Nothing is draining through it. It's just draining out. See, the house was built in 1944, and the plumbing in this house was cast iron. And that cast iron pipe the water running through it had worn one side of the pipe away over the years. The second issue was our dishwasher is broken and had been continually running for almost 13 hours. It was washing the same set of dishes because it has a timer you set, and we normally run it at night when electric rates are lower during the day. But it continued to run. And we didn't know. And as that water went through the pipe, the drain, it just kept on filling up the basement. So here's the issue we're at now. For in order to gain access to the water, the shut off, we had to shut the water off for the entire kitchen. And we can't use the sink in the kitchen. We have double sink, but we can't use the sinks at all because the water, the drain line that is actually broken, is connected to all of it. So the dishwasher drains in to the pipe underneath the sink that runs then and then eventually into the wall behind the sink, and then down, and then eventually into the sewer stack, and then out to the city, from there. Our cabinets were built in 1944. They're custom-made cabinets from 1944. They're made of solid oak, 3/4 of an inch thick. Custom solid oak cabinets. These are what they call world craftsman or craftsman style cabinets. These were not ones that would initially come with the home, but it was one of the selling points to us was these cabinets not only had existed all these years and no one had painted over them and they are in a, I don't know, would you call it like a real finish, I guess. It's got a little bit of a matte finish on it, so they're not like, high glossy, but they're, yeah, I mean, I couldn't replace a door on one of these cabinets if I had to. I'd have to call a master carpenter to have a door made. They hinges. I've never seen hinges like these, before in my life. So now, the only way to get to the pipe is either one, we remove the entire base cabinet, and we have pulled out everything we can, and we can't find anywhere, how they're actually attached to the wall. I'm sure there's some caulking along the top of the cabinet on the countertop, and in that aspect, but how are the cabinets attached to the wall? Nails, screws? We haven't seen a single one. So they have to be hidden someplace where, and attached to the wall and in the base to the floor to get to the pipes. Or, second option, is we cut the back of the cabinets out to get to the pipe, thusly destroying these cabinets, from the back. I mean, sure, you'd have the nice facade of a cabinet in the front that everybody sees when they walk into the kitchen, but they wouldn't have backs to them anymore. I would have to cut them with some kind of saw. I don't even know if I have the right saw to do this. I certainly don't. I think, right now, knowing my skill level, I'm a decent handyman, but I'm not a carpenter. I'm not a plumber. I know a little bit about everything and just enough to be dangerous. I'm not a master at anything. So that's where we're at. Now, the plumber to drain our basement, that was $700 just to drain our basement and then shut the water off. And basically tell us, well, at this point, that's all we can do for you. We can fix, come out and fix the plumbing issue once you gain access to the pipes. If you don't gain access to the pipe and you want us to do it, their solution is we can go from the outside of the house and come in from the outside of the house, removing the siding off of the house, cutting a hole in the exterior of the house to gain access to the pipe, because this is an outside wall where the kitchen is that looks out the window, obviously, of any other house that I've ever seen. It's got a kitchen window over the sinks. But how much is it going to cost? And what are we going to do in the meantime? Can't cook, can't clean anything in the house. I mean, sure, we could microwave food. I mean, who wants to exist on microwaved, food? Can't clean anything in the kitchen. The only thing I can think of in the meantime is, a stock pot of water for, dirty dishes, and a stock pot of clean dishes, and then a dish drainer. So we didn't even own a dish drainer. I had to go to the store. And I went to the first store, and they didn't even have a dish drainer. I went to Walmart, and the only thing they had was a plastic one made in China. And it looks like it's probably going to break in an hour, within use of it. I'm like, who the hell makes these things, and why would you, sell something like that? Yeah, $9 for a plastic strainer. That's the only one they had. It wasn't like they had 5 different models and 4 of the 5 are sold out. That is the only model that they sell at my local, Walmart supercenter. And that's the only thing within 20 miles of my home to get a dish drainer at. Because trust me, I checked, Kroger, and they didn't have anything. I checked, a couple other, box stores. They didn't have anything either. And we don't have like a Big Lots or anything like that where you might be able to find something like this. So, doing dishes by hand, we can do that in the meantime. But we have no water. While I was out picking up a dish drainer, I bought, 8 gallons of water, because that's the only thing they had on the shelf was the 1-gallon jugs of water. So I bought everything they had. I left the distilled water behind, but I bought regular water. If nothing else, somebody can drink it. We do drink an awful lot of water in this house. And cooking, I mean, I don't know what we're going to do there at all. But it just feels like it's just one thing after another sometimes. And where does it all end? How do you get by, if you have one disaster after another? I mean, we can absorb a $700, hit for the plumber. What's the next, once I gain access to the pipe, what's that going to cost? I mean, at $155 an hour, I mean, that's what I'm looking at. And trust me when I say, we called around to several different plumbers, and this one was the most highly recommended, and the only one that could do, immediately within a couple hours before the basement completely filled full of water, and we had a swimming pool instead of a basement. I didn't want it to damage anything, the water, so turn the water off to the entire, first floor. And luckily, we can do that. We can actually separate. We have a 2-story home, so we can turn the water off to the main floor and still have water for the bathrooms and everything on the second floor. Now, of course, the main floor doesn't have, water to the bathroom on the main floor. Doesn't have water to the kitchen. Nothing for the ice maker either. So, of course, that's immediately, what my kids noticed. Hey, there's no ice cubes. Where's the ice cubes? So I'm like, hey, if you want, I'll go to the store and buy you a bag of ice, but we'll get by, find some way, put it in a cooler, so they have ice, for their drinks. Because my son really does like ice cubes in his apple juice. So that's where we're at. I don't know. Maybe you have a solution that we haven't thought of yet. Or maybe you've gone through something like this. If so, put a comment down below. If nothing else, just put a heart or thinking of you or good luck or something. Just leave a comment letting us know that you actually saw this video. Because again, the Taco Podcast is not just about raising a child on the spectrum. It's about our lives, what's behind going on behind the scenes that you don't see on my wife's gaming channel and you don't see on my true crime channel. This is our lives and living our lives and trying to exist in today's society. You have a good day. Don't forget to comment. Bye.